Hi there. Great to see you both Brittany and Anthony. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk a little bit about House Bill 1078. It's such an important topic that I know we've been trying to pass for the last few years, and we have a new freshman, Representative Simmons, who's sponsoring the bill, who has such a perfect lived experience to be able to really shepherd and lead on these issues. So this is the Washington voter eligibility for all persons convicted of felony offenses who are not confined under the jurisdiction of the Department of Corrections. I know both of you have been working on this for so long, and I'd love to hear your story and why you're so passionate and why you're connected to wanting to make sure this bill passes and how that'll affect so many Washingtonians who deserve to vote. Why don't I turn it over to you, Brittany, to go ahead and answer why you're connected to this bill?
I'm really excited to be here, but I would like to share a bit about my story and what brings me to this work. So I am directly impacted, released for the last time in 2015. And when I released, I still had roughly a year left on community supervision. So I was going to school full-time, working full-time. I was in the community, paying taxes, really just trying to build my life. And this was 2015 going into the 2016 election cycle. So it was, it was the hot topic. Everyone was talking about the election coming up. Everyone was engaging with the important topics. They were having these deep moral discussions and, where we want the country to go. And I didn't feel a part of that. Walking around on the college campus, there was people trying to sign up people to vote, doing voter registration and talking about different initiatives and stuff. And I mean, every time in between class, like walking past somebody with a clipboard asking, are you registered to vote? And like that over and over and over again was a sting, to say like, oh, no, I can't. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, no, I can't. And honestly, I didn't know that I would ever get my rights back. There was no clear information given to me. But what I know is I felt like I wasn't a valued voice in my community. And so I felt outside of it. So that's really what brings me to this work. I think that to have a safe and healthy community and a working representative democracy, we need to bring people in and hear people out.
Thank you, Brittany, for sharing your story. I couldn't agree with you more that we need to do more to lower barriers so that people feel connected to a community and feel like their voice is heard and that they're participating. So thank you so much for working on this bill. Anthony, I know so much of the judicial system, the criminal justice system and reform, access to voting, hurts communities of color more because there's so many more additional barriers. Can you speak a little bit to the racial injustices around the current situation, why this bill is so important to pass?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This is really touching and really heartfelt because as a person of color, I always felt like I'm outside of society, at some points, and this bill specifically was designed as a Black code, as a Jim Crow era law. And for so many years, we've been fighting to get this bill passed. And based on that, based on the people who are most impacted by it are the people of color. Black people are 12% of the supervised population, but only 4% of the regular community in Washington State. That to me is we need to start undoing this, and to hear people want to fight for justice. This is where it starts, giving us our voice back, giving us the power to be able to be a part of our community. With so many disenfranchised people of color outside of that looking in, it is just, it's one of those things that we have to continue to fight for. And we've been fighting for it for over 150 years, and we're still fighting. We're still saying the same thing over and over again. And so this is just a huge win for everyone that's a person of color, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree with you more. As a woman of color, I see so much hardships when we're trying to be anti-racist and we can't actually pass policy that's going to make the difference. And I think this is one of those bills that's going to make the difference.
This is something that's been led by all people that have been impacted by the criminal legal system. And so all our leadership team has been, directly impacted by the criminal legal system. And it is, on top of that, it is led by, the first formerly incarcerated person in a nation to be elected.
One of the things that I felt like really made this bill important is the disconnect between the financial obligations and your right to vote. Brittany, can you tell me a little bit about why that's so important for those that are watching?
I don't think that your right to vote should have anything to do with your income. A lot of people come out of prison and face so many financial hardships. And so continuing to discount their voice and saying that, like, no, you can't be a part of this democracy because you don't have the money, doesn't make sense to me. And it, as Anthony mentioned, it carries over from all of these Jim Crow laws, from this era of disenfranchising voters. It's basically a poll tax. We still have this vehicle that that was in place that people can abuse to discount communities of color's voices. So I think it's great that that this bill passed, and we're really disconnecting that legal financial obligations from the right to participate in democracy.
This is so exciting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in person in the future. Thank you so much for working on this bill. This is such an important topic at the right time in society. Our people are asking for this. So again, thank you for your time today, and I cannot commend you enough.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for giving us this platform and for all the work that you're doing. It means the world to us.
Well, thank you for being in partnership on such an important bill.
We're here today for House Bill 1078. This bill allows Washingtonians with felony convictions to fully participate in democracy once they have served their prison sentence. This bill automatically restores voting rights to those individuals so they can once again participate in one of our most sacred American rights, which of course is voting. While other states are restricting the right to vote, I'm glad that Washington here, we're expanding our access to democracy. The right to vote, we know, is a key component to a successful reentry into society following incarceration. Now Washingtonians will have the same rights as 48% of Americans who live in states where laws like this already exist. I'd like to thank the sponsors, Representative Simmons, and the companion sponsor, Senator Cooter. This is Representative Simmons' first bill, and as a person who has rebuilt her life following her incarceration, she has so successfully and effectively used her lived experience to the benefit of others and to our community. As our state's first formerly incarcerated legislator, she was the right person to get this policy into law. And I want to thank her for her leadership. And with that, I'm signing this bill. All right.
Representative Tara Simmons is with us, and she's a freshman lawmaker, and I'm so proud to work with her and be a co-sponsor of her bill. She's here today to talk about it, and I'm really excited to hear how you feel. Tara, how do you feel about this bill?
Thank you so much, Representative Gregerson, for having me with you today. I am so excited about the signing of our bill and so grateful for all of your support on voting rights restoration for formerly incarcerated folks. I'm just, so excited and encouraged that we are going to continue to change the narrative and help people find second chances. And the voting bill was just the first step.
So Tara, one of the most unique and awesome parts about this is that you come from a community of formerly incarcerated individuals. You're an amazing lawyer, a huge advocate. April is actually Second Chance Month. No better time to have this bill signed into law last week on the 7th. Can you talk a little bit about how it makes our community feel like they can now be represented at the table?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it is so important that our legislature is responsive to and inclusive of all communities across Washington, and formerly incarcerated people. 1 in 3 people in our state, 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 have a criminal record of some kind that continues to provide barriers for employment and housing and voting and so many other issues. And I just feel that it is a much larger movement that I'm involved in, and that this bill was the cultivation of so much hard work for many years. And how fitting, and it's like a full circle moment to have it happen on Second Chance Month with amazing colleagues in the legislature that I just joined, and just it feels so wonderful for so many people who often felt left behind.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. And thank you for visiting with Mia. Your future's so bright, and I can't wait to see you in person.
Oh, I can't wait either. And I'm so grateful for all you've done already, and looking forward to the work we're going to do together again next year and for years after that. Thank you.
We have a lot of work to do, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye.